Welcome back. Well, South Africa's coal workers are facing an uncertain future as the country transitions to cleaner energy sources. The G20's Just Energy Transition initiatives, such as the Voluntary Infrastructure Investment Action Plan, will likely have significant implications for local communities, particularly in regions like Mpumalanga, where coal mining is a major economic driver. And joining me now to provide further insights is Dr. Megan Cole, Research Fellow at the Future Water Institute and the Minerals to Metals Initiative at UCT. Thank you so much for your time, Megan. We're always talking about the imperative to have a just energy transition, and of course for a country in which we still largely rely on coal, fossil fuels. Is it not looking just as things stand?
Sure. Well, we're really at the beginning of the just part of the energy transition. I think there's been a lot of discussion about an energy transition, which in the past has really focused on the technical side of things, what technologies, and we've seen huge advances in, renewable energies. So now we're really getting to the nitty-gritty of seeing coal mines closing down and coal plants being decommissioned, and realizing that the real face of the transition is the people, the coal workers and their communities.
Yeah.
And we're really at the beginning of figuring out how to make sure that's just, because that has so many different aspects to it.
Is it testament also to the energy transition part of it actually going at a quicker pace than maybe had been anticipated, where now it's starting to have those effects on the just part?
No, I mean, I think the decommissioning of coal-fired power plants is happening as was already planned, and the coal mine closure is a part of mining. All mines close eventually as the resources are depleted. So it's not a new idea that these plants and mines will close. I think what has happened in the past, historically, with closures, is the communities haven't been thought about much. The workers, it depends who they work for. Some companies are great at finding different jobs at different mines, paying out retrenchment packages and all of that. But it's the scale that's facing us now, that it's going to be happening much more regularly than before. And because it's concentrated around Mpumalanga, particularly, we've seen it in KwaZulu-Natal, and it affects other provinces. But this concentration over time is what's really going to bring the shock to the local economies.
And really just drilling into that point that you make, that with all this is not something new, mines do close, but it seems that the people are never thought about. And I mean, these are communities whose entire economies rely on coal mines. Is there no effort then from policymakers to look beyond and to build new industries for these communities that then form part of the green economy, or these new emerging sectors of the economy?
Yeah, well, this idea of economic diversification, we've been talking about for a few years, actually. And in the mining industry, it's part of the thinking of, when you close, how do we promote sustainable development? How do we make sure when the mine leaves, there's something left behind? But the challenge is often these mines are supported by small towns where there really are very limited alternative industries. The other major factor is that mining pays very well and provides really good benefits. And when those jobs are lost, if the alternative is tourism or agriculture, often that's seasonal, often that's contract work, often the wages are lower. The alternative is actually those workers will be worse off. And also those industries don't always support the local municipalities as much as a large industrial company, like a mining company, in terms of infrastructure, energy, water, roads. There's a huge amount of infrastructure development that goes along with mining that really benefits the town, even the region. We see, for example, in Limpopo, piping water across multiple municipalities to supply a mine, and all those communities along the way benefiting from that. So there's a real sort of much wider regional impact that comes with it.
So are these the missing key local realities that policymakers that policymakers are seeing, where there are missing key local realities in terms of the transition narrative, and actually how then can those be addressed?
Yeah, well, we spent the last few years really looking nationally. It's been a very good national debate, and it fits within this broader global narrative. But we really now need to be focusing on implementation and digging down to the local level. And we're actually looking at 5 provinces. We've got 90 mines, 2.5 million people living in very different communities. We have rural villages, we have towns, we have cities. And so each mine is different, each community is different, and we need to be adapting our implementation plans based on all those different realities. We can't just have one size fits all approach and apply it wherever a mine closes. We really have to understand these local differences. And one of the key aspects that has come out of this research was the fact that almost half of our coal workers are contract workers. So they're facing very uncertain futures. If you're a permanent worker, you at least have some support from the company. And you've also been receiving a pension, contributions, and all of that. Whereas if you're a contractor, you're in a much more uncertain position. And so we really have to think more about, a coal worker is not a homogenous thing. You know, there's a range in age. Some people are near retirement, some are just starting out. There's gender differences, there's location differences. Some have moved provinces to go and work on the mine, others have lived there their whole lives. You know, there's all this detail at the local level that determines how people will be affected by this transition. And we need to factor all of that into the planning and the programs and the implementation going forward.
Yeah, well, let us hope that there are ears that are listening and that will indeed take note of these points that you have made in this research and weave them into the solutions as we are transitioning into green energy. Thank you so much for your time, Megan. That was Dr. Megan Cole, Research Fellow at the Future Water Institute and the Minerals to Metals Initiative at UCT.